Hey pottery people, I just got done unloading the kiln and man, I'm so stoked about some of these jars. I got some really cool pots in there that I'm really happy with. My friends and I are having this pottery sale this weekend, but, oh, check out this jar, a little turtle there. We got a nice little, we got some other rad ones. They turned out really good, but listen to this sound. This is the lid, right? Listen to this. Sorry for those of you that had headphones on. I'm sure that was terrible. I'm really sorry, but it's terrible sound and we gotta fix it and we gotta get rid of it. Thankfully, there's a really easy way to fix this and make a really smooth buttery lid. This works on all type of clays. We're gonna be using something called valve grinding compound. And this is gonna make your lids like butter. So I'm gonna show you how to do this. Let's check it out. We got a really cool jars that came out of the kiln. And we're so excited, but we gotta fix that noise, and it's really easy. You just get this valve grinding compound. Now there's two different kinds of valve grinding compound. You wanna make sure that you get the water-based. If you go to Napa or something like that, a lot of times they'll have water-based and oil-based. Now this one doesn't say, I don't think. Now this one doesn't say whether it's, I can't find it on the label if it's oil-based or water-based, but you can tell on the back it says, to thin compound. Let's see if we can read that. Probably not, but let's see. To thin compound, add a few drops of water. So this one says right on the back, to thin compound, add a few drops of water. So we know that if water mixes with this, then it's a water base, and that's what we want. Again, you don't want the oil base because it'll stick to your pots and you won't be able to get it off. Okay, and all we're gonna do, you can see the little bits of alumina hydrate in there. We talked about that in a video before. That's my separator. So we're gonna take some of this valve grinding compound and just put a little dab on there. That was too much. It's got a little pressure buildup in there. And this has silicon carbide in it, a really fine silicon carbide in there. And I usually put a few drops of water. And how many of you have one of these in your studio right now? Comment down below, how many jars of Talenti ice cream containers do you have in your studio right now? It's like the universal potter, universal crafter container, right? Everybody uses them. So I'm gonna put a few drops of water on there just to make this spin a little easier. And I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm just gonna rotate this back and forth. And the silicone carbide in here is going to completely smooth it out. It's amazing on how smooth these get. All right, and once you feel like you've gotten around it and it starts to get a little quieter, then you're gonna wash this off. I'm just gonna put a little bit more of that stuff right on here. You can even set this on your wheel and just put it on your wheel and spin your wheel and get it. This is pretty easy though, it's not difficult. And then you're gonna wash this off and it's gonna be the smoothest lid ever. And your customers will really appreciate that. The sound is gonna be really nice when you spin this and they put it on, it's gonna be super smooth. So it's definitely something you want. You don't wanna bring a crunchy lid to a pottery sale. You wanna bring a nice, smooth lidded pot to the pottery sale. And that's just gonna feel really smooth and it's gonna be just like butter. You're gonna love it. So again, valve grinding compound, water-based. A lot of the brands say it on the label. This one doesn't. You can tell it's water-based because it says add a few drops of water. Okay, I want you to listen to the difference here. We have this one that I have not done the valve grinding compound on yet. And this one I have. I just got done doing this one. I took it inside and rinsed it underneath the sink. And listen to the difference. Okay, we have jar one. Nice and smooth. Jar two hasn't had the valve grinding compound yet. Jar one, jar two. Definitely worth the extra time. Take the time to make your pots perfect and take the time for craftsmanship and you'll have an item that you're really proud of and you'll be confident in selling it to people and confident that you did the best job you could do. Now we're also going to take care of the bottoms. We're going to do the same thing and we're going to butter up the bottom, just not with valve grinding compound. We're going to wet sand it. We have our lid, it's nice and smooth now, and the bottom I like to treat the bottoms the same way. I want this bottom, I don't want it to scratch anybody's table. I want people to be able to feel confident to set this down on a nice piece of furniture and not scratch their or damage their furniture. So this right here is wet dry sandpaper, meaning it can be used wet or dry. And the reason why we want wet dry paper is so that we can get our pot wet before we sand it, and that way there's going to be no dust that's going to go up into the air and get into our lungs. Okay, you can just use regular sandpaper. It actually works really good. This is a 220 grit, which ends up being like 800 the first time you use it anyway, because this is going to really dull the sandpaper. And you can see this is 800 grit, so it's going to be a much smoother piece of paper. Anyway, I'm just going to put a little bit of water on this pot. And again, we just do that to keep the dust down. And I'm going to go run it over with the 800 grit. And I'm going to dry it off. And it's going to be very smooth, and I'm going to have a nice sellable bottom. I'm going to have a nice bottom that I know is not going to be rough, and it's going to be nice and smooth. And again, we're just upping the quality of our work. We're trying to make the best work that we can possible, and we don't want it to damage people's tables. Yes. Let's take a look at some of those pots that just came out of the kiln. This is the one that we decorated in our last video, and we talked a lot about this one. I'm just so happy with these, and you can see we put those marks on here. And if you remember, we did black, 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 black. Oh, I'm sorry. Then this is the blue one here. It's just ever so slightly blue, and the rest of them are black. And then we did the 2-1 pattern. And it's very subtle, and it's just so beautiful, and I'm very, very happy with these. Again, I'm going to try to get my glaze a little thicker. I want a little bit more volume in the glaze, a little thicker glaze down there, and I'm going to experiment with adding some different colorants to see if I can get a little bit of color change, a little value change, and that drip down at the bottom. But overall, I'm very happy with this. So we have 3 mugs and 3 jars. So let's take a look at them. So we had this jar, okay? Pretty nice little jar there. Oh, I didn't get the lid off yet. So again, I put alumina hydrate and a little bit of water in there. If you didn't see how I did this, you can go back a few videos. But I put a little alumina hydrate and a little water in there to keep it separated. And I take a fettling knife and I put it in there. It pops the lid right off. Look at that chattering on the inside. I don't think that's going to be, I don't think we'll be able to pick that up in the camera. Anyway, really nice jar there. And we have this one. I like this flat little kick out right here in the form. And then the inverted curve there. Digging that. We got the 2 blue marks right there. The rest of them are black. And what else do we have here? We have this one. So it looks like I did 1, 2, 3. This one only has 4 marks on it on the rim. Pretty cool, pretty stoked with that. And then we have an all black jar. This is Obsidian by Amico. And I've glazed the gallery here. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier, the quality. I want this sound of not 2 pieces of dry, crunchy clay rubbing together, but I want that glaze on glazed surface making a beautiful sound. Still haven't finished the bottom of the lid, but anyway, pretty happy with that. That's Amico's Obsidian glaze. And then the last one, we had this big jar with the stamped decoration on top. Again, I think this with a pooling, a little bit of color from some rutile in there, pooling in there would be a beautiful addition to this. Still pretty stoked with this. Ideas for the future. Got the blue mark there. The rest of them are black. Super stoked. Thank you so much for watching. Hit a thumbs up if you like this video. That's all the time I have for today. I have to go back and grind the rest of the bottoms and smooth the rest of the lids out and get ready for my pottery sale this weekend. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Keep on making pottery. Bye.